Hello everyone! I hope you're still having a great Saturday. Now, there are a lot of things you can enjoy in this world, but few things come close to watching two elite grandmasters battle it out in Blitz and Bullet. And such was the case yesterday on Speedchess Championship on chess.com. It was the semi-final match between Hikaru Nakamura and Sergey Karjakin. The winner of this match will face Magnus Carlsen, who already got his ticket to the finals by defeating Alexander Grischuk in the semi-finals. And it's like watching two gladiators. They're just plunged into the arena, and the audience demands for blood. But not as much as everyone wanted, since this match actually got the highest percentage of draws in the history of Speed Chess Championship. Almost 40% of the games were drawn. Now, everyone thought if Nakamura manages out to remain equal in the blitz portion, that he will crush Karjakin in the bullet section, but in the end, in the 5 minute plus 2 seconds increment section, Nakamura won with a result of 6-5, so only 1 point lead. In the 3 minutes plus 2 seconds increment, he won with a result of 5-4, also 1 point lead. And in the bullet section, where everyone thought that Nakamura would crush Karjakin, he defeated him with a result of 5.5-4.5, so only 1 point lead in every segment of the match. So quite interesting, and obviously, Nakamura will face Carlsen on the 3rd of January for the finals of Speed Chess Championship on chess.com. I will put a link in the description to the article by Peter Dargers. He wrote a nice article about this match for chess.com, so you can read it. There are a lot of interesting facts about the match and the matchup. But I decided to show you one game. It's from the Blitz section, where Nakamura has the white pieces and he plays 1b3. Now, they said that Nakamura shouldn't play such moves. I mean, of course, he's probably the greatest expert of speed chess in the world, experience-wise, and he often employs weird openings. But they said he shouldn't use such things against a strong chess player like Karjakin. But he does it. He remains true to his style, and he plays 1b3. E5 by Karjakin. We have so far the Nimzowitsch-Larsen attack. Bishop b2, knight c6, and e3. Knight to f6 by Karjakin, bishop to b5, which is often the idea when you play this b3, bishop b2, bishop to d6 now, knight a3, e4, and knight to c4, going for this strong dark square bishop, threatening to double up black's pawns on the d file. Bishop back to e7, and now bishop captures, b captures, and f3. So what do we have here? Karjakin does have the open b file, but this is the idea. When you play b3, the open b file doesn't really do anything, and you kind of messed up black's pawn structure. But then again, this c pawn can become useful once black pushes d5. It will be a nice support to the center. So we have castles by Karjakin, and f captures on e4, knight captures on e4, and knight to f3. And here was actually a critical moment in the game where Karjakin could have practically, I'm not going to say win the game, but he played bishop to f6, but there was a move bishop to a6. Now, you're not just threatening to capture on c4 and mess up white's pawn structure, you're also not allowing white to castle. If white castles, for example, castles simply push d5, and after knight c2 e5, you capture the rook. Bishop captures. Now, okay, you do have this knight to c6 attacking the queen and the bishop, but after queen moves, knight captures, queen captures, simply capture the bishop on f1. You can't capture the pawn on d2, the knight is protecting it, and white doesn't really have compensation here. So this bishop to a6 would have been a far better move than the one Karjakin played, that is bishop to f6. So bishop captures by Nakamura, knight captures, and castles by Nakamura. Now Karjakin goes for bishop to a6. We have d3, bishop captures, b captures, and d5 now. So this position is now about equal, but that previous position where I showed you bishop to a6, that was much better for black. So c captures, and knight to d4 now. Queen to e7, now knight to f5, kicking the queen away, queen e5, and queen to f3. We have g6, kicking the knight away, knight back to d4, king g7, as the knight was attacked on f6, Rook 8 to b1, now assuming the open b file, and c5, again, developing in the center, pushing pawns forward, and kicking the knight away from d4. Knight to b3, and rook f to e8, going for that e3 pawn, threatening to capture it with check. So king to h1, this is indirectly defending it, since if you capture the pawn, you lose the knight on f6 with check. c4 now, d captures on c4, and here Karjakin like automatically recaptured the pawn, d captures on c4, but with a move like rook 8 to c8, this is actually perfectly fine for black, and if you capture c captures on d5, simply rook to c3, you're threatening to capture now on e3, and this is excellent for black. But after d captures on c4, Karjakin recaptures, d captures on c4, and now knight to d4. Rook 8 to c8 now, and rook to b7. And this is a very problematic position for black. When this knight to d4 was played, Nakamura is actually threatening rook to b5 to kick the queen away from the defense of the knight. And Karjakin kind of stops this with rook 8 to c8, but he doesn't really. The idea was if rook b5, then this rook can come to c5. And here Nakamura plays rook to b7, but when in fact, instead of this, rook to b5 was a much better move. Now, if you play something like queen to d6, you still have to defend the f6 knight, then you have this rook to f5 move, and you can't capture. If you capture the rook, knight captures on f5, and you fork the king and the queen, so you would have to probably move the knight, you'll lose the f7 pawn and end the game. But okay, after rook 8 to c8, Nakamura went for rook to b7, and now a5. Rook to b6, now definitely attacking this knight on f6. You can't defend it, you can't bring any rooks to the defense, the knight is covering both squares. So knight to e4, now queen captures on f7 with check, king h8, and now rook to b7. Here Nakamura threatens checkmate on h7. Knight to g5 with a tempo on the queen and also defending the h7 square. Queen to f2, and here Karjakin, I mean, Nakamura is much better here, but you know, you can still hold on. For example, Karjakin played rook to e7, and this was actually the move that loses the game instantly. But with a move like knight to e4, it's you know, it really forces white to find some sort of a plan. You're attacking the queen, and it doesn't matter if you play queen to f3, you kind of do want to keep your queen on the f-file. If you play queen f3 or queen to f7, any other square will simply allow Karjakin to exchange queens. Again, knight to g5 will attack both f3 and f7, kick the queen away, and again guard h7. So this might have been a way for Karjakin to prolong it, or maybe even continue playing on equal terms, who knows. But after queen f2, he played rook to e7, and this allowed Nakamura the instant knight to c6, attacking the rook, the queen, and you can't capture the knight, of course. If you capture the knight, then queen to f8, this is checkmate. So after knight to c6, Karjakin had to play something, and there really isn't a good move here. He played knight to h3, and after this knight to h3, the idea behind knight to h3 is that if you capture, g captures on h3, then queen d5 check, queen g2, capture, and then rook captures rook on b7, and now Karjakin has a winning endgame. He's up the exchange, and all the pawns are scattered for white. I don't think Karjakin would have the slightest problem winning this endgame. But after knight to h3, Nakamura simply played queen to f3. Now he's attacking the knight, he's protecting his knight on c6, he's also still attacking the rook and the queen, and there really isn't a good move here to play. So yeah, in this position, Sergey Karjakin resigned the game, and like I said, Nakamura won this section with 5 points to 4 points. So in the end, the total result was 3 points for Hikaru Nakamura. A very close match, and you know, I don't know. I actually thought Nakamura would win this with a higher result. But then again, you know, Sergey is one strong player. Yeah. I would like to thank Felix Wenche for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. And like I said, on the 3rd of January, we will see the finals of the Speed Chess Championship between Magnus Carlsen and Hikaru Nakamura, the same two finalists who played last year, and it was, you know, it was really the ultimate showdown. So yeah, as usual, you can check two of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon. And hope you still have a great Sunday.